Captain Sarah Mitchell opened her eyes to endless sand and burning heat. Her military helicopter had crashed 3 hours ago in the middle of nowhere. The desert stretched in every direction, flat, empty, and deadly. Her radio was broken. Her team was scattered. She was alone with only a backpack, some water, and a single signal flare. The sun climbed higher in the sky, and she could feel her strength fading with every breath. Before we begin, tell us in the comments where in the world you're watching from. Sarah sat under the shadow of a broken helicopter wing. She checked her supplies again, though she already knew what she had. A first aid kit, 2 bottles of water, 1 flare gun with only 1 red flare left. That was it. No radio contact. No way to call for help. The crash had happened so fast. One moment they were flying over the desert, and the next moment everything went dark. She remembered the strange sound of the engine, the spinning, and then nothing. When she woke up, she was here, bleeding from a cut on her forehead surrounded by twisted metal and silence. Her radio crackled, then went quiet again. She tried it once more, holding the button down as long as she could. Nothing. Not even static. The silence was worse than any sound. Out here, silence meant death. She thought about her team. Where was Sergeant James? Where was Lieutenant Cooper? Were they alive? Were they searching for her? She pushed the worry away and forced herself to focus. Panic would kill her faster than the heat. Sarah checked the sun's position. 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 12 hours until sunset. 12 hours of this heat. She had learned in survival training that the desert at night could be just as deadly as the day, freezing cold instead of burning hot. She needed shelter. She needed water. She needed to get noticed by a search plane. That red flare was her only chance. But she had to use it at the right time. Too early, and no one would see it. Too late, and she might be too weak to move. Hours passed slowly. Sarah drank half of 1 water bottle, telling herself to ration it. She bandaged the cut on her forehead. She waited, watching the sky for planes. Nothing came. No helicopters, no jets, no rescue. Just the sun, the sand, and her own breathing. Fear began to creep into her mind like shadows. What if no one was looking for her? What if they thought everyone had died? What if she was forgotten? Then at 4:30 in the afternoon she heard something. An engine. Far away, but real. She stood up so fast her head hurt. It was a plane flying low across the desert. Too low. It was heading her way. This was her moment. She grabbed the flare gun with shaking hands. Her heart pounded in her chest. This was it. This was everything. She had one chance. Sarah aimed at the sky and pulled the trigger. The flare shot upward like a bright red rocket. It climbed and climbed, leaving a trail of red smoke across the blue sky. She watched it reach its highest point and explode into brilliant red light. The plane was maybe a mile away. Could they see it? Would they notice? Seconds felt like hours. The plane turned. It was turning toward her. She could see it more clearly now. Military colors. Her side's colors. They had seen it. They had seen her. Relief flooded through her body so strong that her knees almost gave out. She was going to make it. She was going to live. But then something changed. The radio on the ground near the helicopter suddenly came to life with static and voices. She ran to it and grabbed it. Her hands were shaking so much she could barely hold it. The voices were shouting, frantic and urgent. It was Sergeant James. He was alive. Captain, if you can hear this, respond now." His voice cracked with emotion. Sarah pressed the button and spoke as loudly as she could. "James, I'm here. I'm alive." Tears streamed down her face. She wasn't alone anymore. "We're coming," James shouted. "We saw your flare. We're 5 minutes away. Stay where you are. Stay calm. You're going to be okay." She heard him talking to others in the background, giving orders, excitement in his voice. She had made it. Her signal flare had worked. It had changed everything. The military transport plane circled once, more, and she saw rescue helicopters rise up from the horizon. Within minutes, they were lowering rescue equipment. Sarah gathered her things and looked back at the broken helicopter one last time. The desert had tried to defeat her, but she had refused to break. She had stayed strong. She had waited for the right moment. She had used her one chance wisely. As the rescue team lifted her toward the helicopter, Sarah looked out at the endless desert below. The wind pushed the sand in waves, and the sun began its slow descent toward the horizon. She was leaving this place behind. She was going home. She was going back to her team, to her family, to her life. One small red flare had made all the difference. In that moment, hanging in the sky above the desert, Captain Sarah Mitchell knew that courage wasn't about being fearless. It was about being afraid and choosing to act anyway. It was about holding on to hope when everything seemed lost. And now, against all odds, she had survived.